Welcome back to the Realm of Inspiration. In today's video, we are doing another episode of Meet the Domains, but particularly meeting the assistants to the elders. Who are the assistant to the elders? Really, what is this? The Elfian assistants? We don't really talk about them much, and mainly because I have never met one until recently. Recently, I attended, via Astral Projection State, a Elfian Ascension celebration, where I met an Elfian traveler guide elf who was ascending to a new level and chose to be an assistant to an elder, and I experienced that whole celebration. There's minimal things in the book about, in this book about them, just because it's really the deeper details of what they do only they know, and you can kind of, this book's more general. I will have a book in the future, deeper details with the assistant to the elders, and the celebration of ascension as well. In the book, what is said from the Elfian Traveler Guide Elder is that our realm has ascended masters as well, and we call them Elfian assistants because they offer aid to us, the guardians/elders of the 7 Elfian domains. So basically, they have in the Elfian Traveler Guide domain, and that it was mentioned that there are assistants to the elders but the assistant to the elders are a part of every domain. They just all originate in the Traveler Guide domain. There's travelers, so the travelers choose to work and do other things, and the assistant to the elders stay with the Elfian realm. The travelers travel outside of the Elfian realm. The assistant to the elders are a form of their ascended masters that kind of work as like guide teachers, etc. It's all part of their ascension. I mean, they explain how ascension works. The Elfian Traveler Guide Elder does a little bit. Yeah, okay. It is infrequent that an Elfian traveler will become an assistant. It is typically discussed between the elf and the human soul they guide. It is also something that all of us elders discuss with the elf because they would have to pick which domain to assist in. If they choose a different one than the Elfian Traveler domain, they have to go through a stage of learning about the domain. Typically, if they have an inkling that they will choose a different domain during their time working as a guide, they will slowly start to work with that domain to aid in the transition to Elfian assistant status. Look at that. That is in the book. Every time I'm like surprised what's in here. Like, what is in here? I don't know. I channeled it. Wasn't me who wrote it. But I channeled it, but wrote it. And that's why I don't like when people say I wrote the book, because I channeled it and I discover new things about it every day. So we are going to, I have a little purification heart right here. We're going to channel. It's because I developed a communication contract with this assistant to the elder who went through a celebration and just recently ascended last month, a human time. So I'm very excited to reconnect with him and see what he has to share about assistant to elders. He became an assistant to the elder of the warrior domain, and he's a very interesting soul. So without further ado, let's get started. My first time channeling an assistant to an elder. This is going to be exciting. You're there, Divine Masculine, assistant to the elder of the warrior domain who ascended in September. And I attended your celebration. My friend, are you there? Perfect. Let's begin our communication contract with you stepping through, and yes, whenever you're ready. Hello. I am an assistant to an elder. Assistant to elders, we are assistants. We work and do things for the elders when the elders are busy. With other things, we do work with the elves within the domain, but mainly it's with the elders. The elders have a lot of jobs to cover, and especially now with our communicator, the elders having to be more frequently present on Earth for channelings and working with the communicator and developing, clearing our miscommunication with the communicator, all the elders are more busy and have less time to spend really working in the realm and working with the elves, and so we take on that role for them when they can't, and we learn under their wing. And I'm still learning under the wing of the chief warrior, chief Elfian warrior. I'm still learning under his wing, but I am very proud of the decision that I made to work with the warrior domain. I really feel like it is soul fulfilling for me. And the soul that I worked with, they ascended to an ascended master of your realm, and sometimes that happens, sometimes that doesn't. Sometimes they'll decide to go back, and then the elf becomes an assistant to an elder, and it's all situation based. That's not the formula. It's not because the soul that I worked with became an ascended master that I became an ascended master of my realm. That's not the case. That just happened to be the case this time, but that's not how it works. It's always different. It's what we want as a soul, as an Elfian soul, and then what you human soul want, and then go on from there when you complete your initial purpose or and multiple purposes, because we do feel like humans feel like they only have one sole purpose, and you do, but when you complete it, you're not done existing. You move on to the next one. And I for a while didn't know what my life was going to be like as an elf after I stopped working with the soul that ascended. My friend who I have yet to reconnect with that soul, because they are becoming an ascended master more and learning, but one day we will reconnect because we have that eternal friendship with each other. I didn't know what my future held, and I really didn't know which domain I would pick, and I'm sure the communicator would tell you because she witnessed it. I didn't know until right then and there where I was told to choose, and it was really it's seemingly last minute decision, but it was always the right one for my soul. And I had an inkling, but I didn't know. I had an inkling for multiple different ones. I really didn't know entirely yet, and very rare that a human inspires an elf, and so that happened, and we're working together to help you all better understand your ascension, because what I have witnessed by just the minimal time I've worked with the chief warrior, the chief Elfian warrior, is that a lot of humans who are awoken and they discover their purpose, they think that that's it. So when I complete this, am I done? And you're not done. You're never done. And being an assistant to the elder proves to us elves and to all of you that you're never done. You always find a new purpose. We do work as a guide and teacher. I'm not there yet. I'm still in training, but the other assistants to the war, because there are multiple. I mean, there's so many elves, so many of us. Same way there are so many human souls. I mean, it's infinite. We are all infinite. Elf, human, all infinite. And there are so many of assistant elders of the warrior. Not as much as others. The animal healer domain has a lot more, and that was more of my second choice. So but I also saw and felt that they had a lot, and there was a lot going on in the animal healer domain, and the warrior domain does, especially now with the different shifts in energy, and when we get closer to kind of the earth breaking into the 5D and really establishing itself up higher into the 6 and 7, and then inevitably going more and more and more until it's fully broken through every veil and completely 100% free from negativity ever causing a fall again. But with that happening, that the warrior domain needs a lot of help. And watching these other assistants guide and teach and a mentorship, in a way, it was really, we work as mentors, and we don't really get the opportunity to work with humans, and neither do visitor status elves or traveler elves, but the visitor status elves, they will inevitably work with a human, and the traveler elves have worked with a human, or multiple. We as assistant elders, what I have learned is that we really don't come down to earth very often, unless you're an earth elemental assistant to the elder. We won't really come down to earth very often. We really work in the realm, in our energetic meeting space, or in my case, I've been to the polarity line once. I was just there a few human days ago on the polarity line, and it's looking a little different. There is positive shift in energy, but there is also the negative polarity is going to fight back. there is a lot more acceptance, collective acceptance of things. And as I'm sure you know, because I know from talking to the other elders, because well, just because I'm assistant to the elder of the chief warrior, we talk to all the elders, and we work with all the elders a lot. From talking with them, knowing that the communicator did channel them to talk about energetic shift, so you who have seen that, or maybe more people are aware now that there is a lot more work to be done, and the 5D isn't the end all be all. It is the first step, and there is a lot more collective acceptance of that there is still more work to be done, and we cannot. We as elves, you as humans, cannot force it to just magically happen, because it's all a part of the process. And we are seeing a lot of collective acceptance happening. We're also seeing a lot of souls transition out of the physical form, and based on their soul contracts, like fulfilling a lot of soul contract fulfillment, a lot of healing, a lot of cycles being broken. There's a lot of very positive things going on right now, and it's truly beautiful to see. We as assistants, we like to give assistance, but we also learn. And I thought that, well, I knew everything I needed to know about being the guide of the human that I was the guide for. I knew everything about that. But there was everything else didn't know much about. And we still learn. Like, we're guides and step into teaching the younger elves who are still in the earlier stages. Or there are some warrior frequency divine justice warriors who are, their souls are way older than mine, and I've been around for a very long time. But so they were originally elementals of the warrior frequency and then transitioned into the warrior domain. And so some of them are older than the elves are. It is actually, I'll have when I'm done the communicator, there is a quote in the book for the communicator to read. I'm showing her that visual now so she can read that at the end, so all of you can hear it. Beautiful one from the source that told our elder, the elder of the Traveler Guide domain. I still say our elder. Well, he did guide and help make me into who I am, but I'm still adjusting to being the assistant of it. It's a process. It's a learning process, but we're still learning, and I hope that is comforting for all of you to know that there is, that even us higher beings, we're still of love and light, we're still learning. And by higher beings, meaning we're higher beings dimensionally, it doesn't mean we're smarter than you by any means. I'm sure there are some human souls who understand things that I will never understand, and also there are things that I'll understand that you'll never understand. It's the cycle of life. Not one being can know everything. That's why there are different realms, so that we can all work together and collectively make the bigger picture. And that's what I've learned a lot as well. It's fun, but we as assistants, there isn't really much deep details to it. We kind of all generally do the same thing, just in a different domain. And there's an adjusting period, and I'm in that adjusting period. But I think getting to connect with a human warrior, our communicator, is definitely something that's helping me. And we love to learn and observe from all of you, and I'm learning and observing on the polarity line everything that's going on, and it's a lot to see. It's a sight to behold. But we even, like, on the polarity line, we can see and sense it when I was there, someone transitioned out of the physical form, and we felt a shift. And because their physical form houses all these cords, all these ley lines, all these imprints, all this and that. So the physical form, it was dense. It was not necessarily an enlightened human being in this particular lifetime. Not to say that they weren't in other lifetimes, but the physical forms before they decay away, they have, and even the bones have like energetic energy around them, and then you put them in and bury them in the earth, and that then becomes an anchoring of whatever they did in their lifetime, and it's a living imprint. And then that's kind of why graveyards, they have, you feel like there are people there because it's a living imprint. You bury the body and the bones and all of that. It's all a living imprint of everything, and we feel that energy going in, and it influences the polarity line in a way. So telling the communicator, maybe we should go sage all of the graveyards. to cleanse away, because I mean, really, there's a lot of different energy in graveyards, and I knew from the soul that I worked with that there was in there, but seeing it on the polarity line, you can see it. It's very intriguing. I was around right around Atlantis, so right after the fall, and there was burying of the bodies found, and some people buried, some people burned, and we saw that the burning didn't leave any marks or traces, but there are like anchors of kind of repeating the cycle of the bad things that caused the fall, where the ones that were buried. We see that on the polarity line, and we offer clearing and cleansing. The warriors offer clearing and cleansing. I went and I watched them try and do that, but there's only so much they can do, so there's a lot. Ancestral lines, the whole reason why ancestral lines is such a big thing to clear is mainly because of the physical forms that went wherever they were buried. If you know where your ancestors were buried, you might want to start trying to clear your ancestral lines there, because that's really where you'll find the anchoring points. It's very interesting. We learn new things, and I felt like that message needed to be communicated, especially because I know from working with a human soul that during the month of October, some humans like to go in and celebrate and go graveyards or All Saints Day and all of those things, and celebrating the dead, connecting with the dead, all of those things. And it is a time, October is definitely a time to connect with those who have passed on, but also take it as a time to watch and be careful. If you're going to go around and offer healing, if you go past a graveyard during this month of October, send love and light for clearing away any of the negativity. That will also offer a lot of help for the soul, because you may, as a soul, what I have, and I knew this from being a traveler guide, but witnessing it on the polarity line was interesting. You as a soul, your past lives keep influencing you, especially with the physical form. Like all of you who existed and your physical, like during the plague, and your physical forms, the skulls and bones are in the catacombs, and it's still living and repeating cycle. That's influencing your soul. So do a little check-in, maybe do an Akashic check-in and see during this month. But it was very nice to talk to you all for the first time, and I'll say goodbye now. Thank you. I feel like he's not done, so there's gonna be more videos with him. Actually, there will be on Patreon. I am on Patreon now. Well, the Realm of Inspiration is on Patreon now, and he is actually going to, later today, going to offer more guidance for the month of October. So that was a little snippet, but he is going to go a little bit deeper. I'll ask him to further elaborate on October and things like that. So if you want to check out Patreon and support the channel, support me and the elves, and also, I mean, I got a lot of books on the way too. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description. Also, it'll be typed right here on the screen for you to see. It's just patreon.com/therealmofinspiration. Check that out, and if you want to sign up for the things to see the videos, the exclusive videos that I'm not going to be posting anywhere else, for this month or any future months, because they're monthly videos, check that out. Let's read the quote. He did show me the quote. That's one of literally the only things I remember, except seeing a graveyard behind a house I used to spend some time around, and yeah. So I'm gonna have to watch this back and figure out what he was talking about. The quote is so it's from the Elfian Traveler Guide Elder, and it says, "My source complimented me on a job well done, and even though there were Elfian traveler souls older than me, he wanted me to be the elder. He said something to me that you all should hear. The time of existence does not always reflect the wisdom of a spirit. It is and will always be the experiences that reflect wisdom, especially things learned in a physical form. For that is precisely what human souls do. They go to Earth to experience life in the physical form, to develop as a soul. One life can make up for all past mistakes if done correctly. One lifetime can give you enough experience to ascend to a higher level of being." I got chills. Like I felt that. Reading that, I felt that. Wow. So we're gonna end on that note, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know the assistant to the elders, and I will see you in more Meet the Domain videos because there's going to be a lot coming out this month and next month and December because the Cosmically Inspired series is going to be the main series going on for the remainder of the year. So it's gonna start in a few weeks, in a week maybe. I don't know, we'll figure out when I do the channeling. So I'll see you then, and stay inspired. Love and light, beautiful souls.